Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 11, The Universal Form, or in Sanskrit it is known as the Vishwarup Darshan. The Sanskrit word Rupa means form. One of the biggest theological debates among great thinkers has gone on for centuries. The question over whether God is formless or does he have a form. Some argue that accepting a personal form of God amounts to projection of our own qualities onto him. Krishna, however, confirms in numerous passages of the Bhagavad Gita that he manifests in many ways, in formless aspect, and more importantly in many forms, and something in between also. He also categorically states that the form is the original Swarupa, and it is also the basis of the formless aspect, just like bulb is the source of light, it's not the other way around. This is further confirmed in this chapter after Krishna displays another of his innumerable forms, known as the Vishwarupa, the universal form. Now, the universal form of the Lord is not an eternal form, like many other forms of his as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narsingha. It is displayed from time to time for a specific reason, like Krishna showed his semi-universal form to Duryodhana to try and convince him of Krishna's supreme opulence, supreme power. Still Duryodhana, because he had no devotion, he could not understand, he couldn't take advantage. Now in this chapter, Arjuna asks a question as he has been doing till now, and he is playing the part of an ignorant soul and asking questions on our behalf for all of us. Krishna is inspiring him. Arjuna requests to see the universal form. One may ask why he makes such a request, since he can see Krishna and is completely satisfied seeing him face to face. Clearly, Arjuna does not have any personal agenda in seeing the universal form, but he requests the vision for other reasons. Firstly, he wants to prove without doubt Krishna's position as the source of everything. And secondly, set a standard for anyone in the future who claims to be God to show similar opulence. Unfortunately, our modern world is nevertheless plagued with so-called incarnations and godmen claiming to be the latest saviors of society by dint of the fact that they have mustered up some popularity or mastered a few magic tricks. There is so much sentimentalism going on in the name of religion. If somebody shows some gymnastics, some magic tricks, or heals someone, oh, people say he's God, he's God, he's God. They start worshipping an ordinary human being on the level of God, which is a great offense. God is not so cheap. We can't bring down God to our level. We can't impose our consciousness on him. Therefore, Arjuna specifically requests Krishna to show his universal form so that for all time to come, people who would try and claim to be God in future, if they claim to be so, they should be able to show the universal form. Any incarnation of the Lord that comes to this world should have been mentioned in the scriptures. So when people start worshipping some human being as God, or someone is claiming to be God, we should ask this person the first question. Okay, sir, in which scripture has your incarnation or descent into this world been discussed or mentioned? So, and secondly, can you show us your universal form? Like that. So, for this reason, since Gita is spoken for the people of Kali Yuga future, it was spoken in Dwapar Yuga, towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, because Kali Yuga is about to set in, and it's meant for everyone's guidance. Therefore, Krishna inspires Arjuna to ask such a question. Krishna knows what happens in a dark age like Kali. So let's jump into the chapter now and try and see verse by verse. It's an interesting chapter, and we can just simply relish. And as we are describing the universal form of Krishna, you can just close your eyes and meditate on what is being described. This is to be relished. Text 1. Arjuna Uvacha Mad anugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma sangitam yat tvayoktam vachastena moho vayam vigato mama. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. If somebody is under illusion, only transcendental instructions from the scriptures can help him. Text 2. Bhavapyayu hi bhutanam shrutau vistarasho maya tattah kamalapatraksha mahatmyam api chavyayam. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and have also realized your inexhaustible glories. Before asking anything further, Arjuna is letting Krishna know that he has been hearing attentively and he has been able to understand what has been described till now. Because an expert teacher would only move forward when the student has understood everything perfectly. So now he's going to present his request. Text 3. Evametad yathatatvam atmanam parameshvara drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. So in the previous chapter, the opulence of the Absolute, chapter number 10, Krishna has in great detail explained his various opulences, his glories, through which he pervades the entire creation. He has given a hint about his splendor and how he is sustaining this entire creation through a single fragment of his, effortlessly. How he is present in every atom of this creation. Now Arjuna wants to see how is Krishna present in every atom. He wants to see that form. He wants to actually have a direct experience of Krishna's presence. How this whole creation is sustained by, maintained by Krishna. And therefore he makes a request. So whenever we want something from someone, a request has to be made, because the person making a request is in an inferior position. People have challenged, if God is there, show him to me. If God does not present himself before me, I won't believe in his existence. So we can't challenge God. We have to be humble and request. And if he is pleased with our request, our humble attitude, then he'll be more than happy to reveal himself to us. So Arjuna says, text 4, Manyase yadi tachakyam maya drashtum iti prabho yogeshwara tato me tvam dashatmanam avyayam. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. He is saying, if you think I am qualified to see that, then please help me with that manifestation. So he's making a request. At the same time, he's saying, if you think I'm qualified. So this is how our attitude should be in front of God. If you think I'm qualified, then please bless me with this. If you think it is good for me, then please do it. Or I request you to help me with this. So, hearing Arjuna's request, Krishna, who is Bhakta Vatsala, who is bound by the love of his devotee, he says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Pashyame Partha Rupani Shatashovatha Sahasrashah Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varnakritini Cha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see how my opulence is. Hundreds of thousands of varied divine and multicolored forms as they are displayed. Text 6. Pashyadityan vasun rudran ashvino marutastatha bahuni yadrishta purvani Pashyascharyaani Bharata. O best of the Bharatas, Arjuna, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. So all these personalities mentioned in this verse, Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, etc., they were discussed in the previous chapter, how Krishna is manifesting his powers through them. So he's again repeating that list briefly. Now you can see all of those are present within my body. I am sustaining them. Text 7. Ihaikastham jagat kritsnam pasyadyasa characharam mama dehe gudakesha yachanyat drashtamicchusi. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. Now if Krishna has to show his universal form which is pervading the entire universe, he doesn't want Arjuna to go around the universe. He is always very merciful to his devotee, so he will show everything to Arjuna while he is seated on his chariot. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. Krishna just gives a hint as to what to expect. But Krishna says, Arjuna, to see this universal form, it's not possible with your present eyes. So I'll bless you with a divine vision, separate set of eyes. So just see, Krishna is so close to Arjuna and Arjuna is so qualified. He has conquered over ignorance. That's why the name Gudakesha has been used in this particular verse for Arjuna. Gudakesha means one who has conquered ignorance. Krishna specially addresses Arjuna as such. But even such a person cannot see everything or every aspect of Krishna unless Krishna gives him the qualification, although he is standing next to him. So how can people who have no faith challenge God to show himself to them without being properly qualified? So unless we become qualified, Krishna is not bound to reveal himself to us. He reserves the right of not being present in front of the non-believer. So therefore Krishna says, text 8, Nadu mam shakyase drashtum anenaiva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuh pashyame yogamaishwaram. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore I will give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. And now the camera shifts to the palace, where Dhritarashtra's secretary Sanjay is explaining what's happening on the battlefield. So now get ready to see the universal form through your ears. Before we see God face to face through our eyes, he has to be seen through ears. That means we have to hear about him. And just by hearing about him, we become qualified to see him one day. As our senses become spiritualized, our eyes become qualified. So first we shall see, behold the beautiful, wondrous, mystical, gigantic form of Krishna, the universal form, through the eyes of Sanjay. And then later on, the universal form will be seen through the eyes of Arjuna. So now you can just close your eyes, and as you hear, you can just envision, you can just imagine that form within your mind, and thus you can derive the same experience as Sanjay and Arjuna derived. Because Krishna is absolute. His personal presence in front of us is as good as his remembrance. They both can give us the same experience, same benefit. Therefore, it is explained, when we see Krishna face to face, all our material karmas are destroyed. Similarly, it is also mentioned, one moment's remembrance of Krishna is enough to destroy millions of lifetimes of sinful karmas, which become the root cause of suffering. So all that can be destroyed simply by remembering Krishna. So now I'm going to read these verses as Sanjay explains to Dhritarashtra the universal form. And it is like a reporter reporting from the studio about what's happening on the scene of action, where the action is taking place. After that, again we'll shift the camera to the battlefield. So these verses, this chapter is to be relished. How beautifully Krishna must have manifested this. And wherever there is an explanation, I'll try and speak about that. Sanjay Uvacha, text 9. Sanjay said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Text 10 and 11. And what was that form like? Aneka vaktra nayanam, anekadbhuta darshanam, aneka divya bharanam, divyane kodyatta yudham, divya malya bharadharam, divya gandhanulepanam, sarvascharyamayam devam, anantam vishwato mukham. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Text 12. And the form was extremely effulgent. That's the reason Krishna had to give special eyes to Arjuna. How was that form like? Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapad Uttita Yadi Bha Sadarshi Sasyad Bhasastasya Mahatmana. If hundreds and thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, that radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. It is very difficult to stare at one sun and imagine hundreds and thousands of suns. If they rise simultaneously, their radiance might resemble. That means the universal form of the Lord was more effulgent than millions and millions and millions of suns. Text 13. Tatraikastham jagat kritsnam prabhibhaktam anekada apashyad deva devasya sharire pandavastada. At that time Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Text 14. Tataha sa vishma yavishto Rishtaroma Dhananjaya Pranamya Shirasa Devam Kritanjalir Abhashata. Then bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna had never seen Krishna like this. Their relationship was friendly. He would joke with Krishna, he would pull his leg. They would spend so much time together. And relationship between friends is not very serious. Serious discussions never take place because both of them are on the equal level. But now when Arjuna saw Krishna's gigantic, effulgent, universal form, his emotions changed. And suddenly, because he is experiencing Krishna's greatness now, he was only used to sweetness. So now he develops feelings of awe and reverence towards Krishna. And therefore he begins to pray to the Supreme Lord. And he realizes that the person he's been dealing with till now, he's not understood him clearly. He's so great. And now, what Arjuna sees and what he prays is what we will be discussing in the next set of verses. Now, the universal form will be seen through the eyes of Arjuna. And what are the contradicting emotions Arjuna's heart is going through? That will be discussed in detail. Thank you so much. We shall continue the description of the universal form in the next 30-40 verses as well. Thank you.